What is up, guys? I'm Cam from Distorted Views. I'm the second vocalist in the band, and today I just thought I might walk you guys through some screaming techniques that I've learned along the way. False chord or fry. There's two different ones I could probably walk through. And if you want more information on what we're really doing and really in-depth stuff, if you're into that, we have a podcast with Brandon Kennedy, who's been my vocal coach in the past, and he is absolutely amazing and knowledgeable, and he's from Unified Extreme Vocal. So go check out that podcast on Spotify and everything after this, and he'll provide you with a lot more information as well. So anyway, to do the first scream, it would be what the internet classifies as false chord, right? So it's what I'm doing is throat singing, and I've gotten to the point where I can do throat singing so effortlessly, and it's not tight, and it's such a relaxed feeling that when I go to the scream, I just relax off that scream, relax off the false chord even more, and to the point where the voice wants to fall apart and it starts rumbling. So I'll show you an example of that. It's really important that you get the clean voice under it first. So, and you see at the end there, I just let go. I just went, and I exhaled into it, and then it turns into this rumble. There's no tickling, there's no anything, and we're good to go. We can do that for ages, right? So I learned a lot of beatboxing when I was a kid, just from loving hip hop and stuff, and wanting and making all these different noises and stuff was really fun for me. So I learned how to throat sing before I even knew that I was throat singing. So what I thought I was doing was making a bass with the beatbox, like trying to emulate what a bass would sound like. That sort of sound. And then I realized, that's actually, and you're just throat singing. In all these screams, the clean voice is very important. So it's not, I think a lot of people with screams get very caught up in the fact of it being like, how do I go, or, and then they're like, just push from your chest, and it's like, that's so shit. It's terrible advice to only focus on the pushing and the and the fucking air. Otherwise, all you're gonna do is you're gonna force some sort of sound out, and you're gonna make somewhat of almost a scream sound, but it's gonna be coming just from the force and just from air leaving your throat. And then what's gonna happen is you're not gonna be able to actually say a full sentence and a full bar of lyrics, or hold a scream out over a breakdown for a long period of time, because you're just exhaling all your air. So what you got to do is you got to learn how to release air slowly and relax your throat and relax the coordinations of the muscles in a way that everything starts to fall apart, and then you use compression and breath support to keep it in this realm of if you go too far, the sound goes away. But if you go too tight, the sound doesn't happen. It's in this middle range. And once you find that, if you practice enough, you'll find that range, and you'll be able to just go you know what I mean? And then you're making this sound, and it's so easy, no tickling or anything, and it's just, you can just do it all fucking day, right? So how I would do it would be start with the clean voice. And if you can learn how to send air through your nose, like your nasal passage, and then it gets blocked and then it comes out your mouth, it's a really cool way of tricking your body into getting it into the soft palate, up here. And then I like to go say the word song, but you take away the SO and you just say the NG, song. And then you go and then you let it come out the throat. So and just sounds powerful as it's rumbly, it's cool. And then once you start messing around with tongue placement and different vowels, you can start getting some cool little whistles and, resonances and stuff inside your throat that get different tones of screams out. It's really cool. So to get the actual throat singing element, I suppose it would be like you sort of have to tighten it up, but not to the point where you're like, ah, like you're not trying to do that. That's too much, right? You're trying to go, it sort of feels like, and then too much, too much, like that would be. I wish I could explain it better, but that's unfortunately like just what in my mind I'm thinking. But not that hard. And you find that threshold between how much you can close the voice or whatever, and then you can the vocal folds, and then you can make the and you'll get so good at that. And I would recommend just practicing that. Just do that for fucking ages, right? To the point where you're just driving your car around, you can just go, wow, all the time. So that's a very important part of the scream, okay? So let's move on. Clean voice, throat singing. Now, to get the rumble and the scream, you don't push harder like these other fucking tutorials on YouTube. You don't just push as hard as you fucking can. What you do is you use breath support from your diaphragm and compression, and you compress everything, and you slowly release air out and relax here at the same time. So it's this compression and constantly letting air out at the same rate, and not just going and just letting all your air out and forcing it to happen, but also letting enough air out that the sound can happen, and you're using as little air as possible to make the sound, and then you're letting it out at a consistent flow. Right? And then simultaneously, to make the sound, it feels like an like a relaxation, like. And then you're not actually going like that, but if you feel what your muscles do when you go, you feel it go, it just drops down, right? So you do that whilst going and letting the air out, and you'll get. See, I made it really exaggerated then, so you could hear that. See? So that allows it to be really relaxed, really easy, soft. Like you're not going to damage your voice doing this version, and you'll be able to scream for longer. And yeah. So, and in regards to different tones, I'm sure from all the other tutorials you would know a lot about that. Making a smaller mouth shape, wider mouth shape. You can sort of make with your voice, if you throw your voice in it, you can go like, oh, and you can lower, I think it's your larynx. You like talk down here. The clean voice is so important for screams. I don't think people talk about it enough in tutorials, is like your voice itself. Even when I'm doing a mid scream, my voice is pretty high. It's still like pretty high. So yeah, I think I harped up enough on that. What are we at? Fucking 10 minutes. Cool. So now what you can do is, if I share my screen here, so let me go, bang, yep. Yeah, good enough. So you can hear here these screams I've recorded. Now these have no processing, it's just one EQ on it, that's it. And if you layer them, you can start making some really cool sounds. So and then so the second one was a fry sound, as the internet would call it, and this was a false chord, as the internet would call it. So, yeah. So, and what you can do is in mixing and stuff, you can just layer, a couple different tones and make them stand out as you wish within the song. So, I really like doing a low, like ooh type rumble sound with a quieter wow, like a higher fry sort of sound. The fries aren't as powerful and they're a bit quieter, but they have a really cool resonance to them and a lot of treble that sounds really cool. And when you combine the rumbly low with the high treble as a layer, it sounds really sick. Yeah, so just obviously some notes to take home and practice would be practice with different sound effects that aren't just the scream. So learn to manipulate your voice down here and then go up really high up here and then try to speak to the cartilages like this and make like weird sounds, even though my voice is still doing this. When I speak with my cartilages, I'm making a weird voice, and you do shit like that. You can try saying, the word song and just the NG, like, and you can just start making weird sounds, right? And you just learn all the different distortions by themselves, and then what the actual screams usually are is a coordination of all of those things put together with the clean voice. So I would always focus on the clean voice under the scream and what pitch you're actually hitting, and then you'll just add in the distortion to that, and then the pitch will go away unless you're doing a pitch scream, but that's a whole nother video. Being able to have a nice clean undertone with the voices will help you not hurt yourself, and then being able to relax into the distortion and not just push to make the distortion will help you last longer. Screaming will help you do it more effortlessly, will help you not injure yourself, as well with drinking water and warming up and fucking blah, blah, blah. So, when you pronounce the words as well, a lot of the screaming is making it seem like you're screaming. It's a lot of acting. So yes, you'll have distortion on your voice, but if you want some really good takes in the studio, it's really good to really over-exaggerate your pronunciation of the words, and to really, with the syllables, you can like wind into them, If you just go like, if I'm saying like, so let's go or something, if I just go, so let's go, it'll just sound like, so let's go. It's like, oh, that's not really that inciting. But if I go like, so let's go, whoa, so let's go, and I really go, whoa, 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 and I wind into it. I'm not actually screaming, but it'll sound so much more convincing in your record that it'll make it seem like you're really going, rah, no, rah, so let's go, and you just give it a bit of like, wow, wow. Fucking, I don't know, man. So that's something to keep in mind too. Your enunciation of the words is important as well. So hope that helped, guys. Any more questions, you can chuck them in the comment section, and if I get around to it, I'll reply to some. And yeah, we'll get the main vocalist on, Zachy Boy, hopefully in the future. And, he can teach you what he does, because I think he screams even better than I do. So there you go. See you guys. Subscribe, all the good stuff, and see you later.